Do text files store their encoding method for later decoding? I was wondering if some text files store their encoding method along their text content for later decoding? Or is it the text viewer's job to guess the encoding method for a given text file, and the guessing may not always be correct? If yes, how does a text viewer guess that?
I was wondering if some text files store their encoding method along their text content for later decoding? Mark Zemansky's answer is correct. There is no explicit encoding information in a plain text file. That's the definition of plain text file. The plain refers to the fact that there is no metadata in the file. However, some applications will place a byte order mark, BOM, in text files encoded as UTF-16 or UTF-32/UTF-4. The BOM is not really meant to indicate the encoding. It indicates byte order, as the name says, but many applications will use the presence of the BOM to recognize UTF-16/UTF-32, so it serves as an encoding indicator. Or is it the text viewer's job to guess the encoding method for a given text file, and the guessing may not always be correct? If yes, how does a text viewer guess that? Yes, the text viewer can only guess. It usually uses some heuristics. In some encodings, notably in UTF-8, not all byte sequences are valid. So an application can just try to decode the file as UTF-8. If it succeeds, the file is probably UTF-8. If it fails by finding an invalid byte sequence, it is not. This is how, for example, Vim works by default. It will first try to use UTF-8 when reading a file. If that fails, it falls back to ISO 8859-1. In most older 8-bit encodings, any byte sequence is valid. In that case, you can sometimes guess encoding by looking at the byte histogram, frequency of different byte/byte sequences. Internet Explorer used to do this to guess the encoding of a page. However, this is very error-prone, so few programs do this. In most cases, a program must be explicitly told what the encoding of a text file is, otherwise it will not be able to read it correctly.
Plain text files do not store any information about their encoding. A viewer determines it based on the character encoding you have set for it. It cannot determine it by itself, since it's all the same to the computer.
If you want to support the channel, please